Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Grits and Glitter podcast. I'm Skip Jennings.
And I'm Terry Dyer.
Yes, you are. What's up, brother?
I'm well. How are you, brother?
I'm good. You are giving the tank top tonight. You giving gay boy
Oh,
realness. Look at
it's
you.
because it's 90 degrees in South Florida today, so it is
Is it
extremely hot.
is it hot down there?
It is. It is. It is. It is. And even though I'm still wearing jeans around, I got a
Right.
suns out, guns out kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to be real honest. I am doing this podcast from my bedroom when I was a child. It brings up a lot of hidden stuff. You come back to your home and stuff comes up. I remember being that little gay black boy coming out of the closet, being in this room with tears. But I'm grateful to be home in Atlantic City. And I know people are going to
Yes.
say, "Is that the house back there?" No, it's virtual because I can't show you my
I was
bedroom.
thinking it.
I cannot show
When
you
you
my
said that used to
bedroom.
be your bedroom, I said, wait, your mama done turned it into a living room, your bedroom
Right?
into a sitting room.
You know how it is, brother. I'm like going, I can't show them my bedroom because it's a mess back here. What's going
I
on,
love it.
T? What's happening?
There's a lot happening these days. We are in episode 2. Can you
Two,
believe it?
yo.
Can
Two.
you believe it?
I do believe it. I do believe it.
Working hard. That's what I will say. We are working hard
Yes.
to continue to amplify our voices and people that look like us and create safe spaces for folks to talk and have conversations and really sort of dive deep into situations and issues and storytelling, right? About people that look
Yes.
like us. So we're doing the dang
Yeah.
thing, right?
We're doing it. And I realized something very similar. We've had very similar upbringings. And coming back into this room, into my bedroom, growing up, I am so clear. Things might have been different if I had role models like yourself, or if I had your
Mhm.
book, or if I could have connected with someone who looked like me, who was openly queer. And so I am hoping that we're doing a great service for others who are coming up and who know that they're gay, know that they're queer, who happen to be of color. And I'm hoping that we can be the message of hope and to let them know, things are going to be okay.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you said that to all the folks out there that are listening in podcast land or watching us on YouTube and things like
That's
that.
right.
It is so, our passion, right? We didn't necessarily have folks as we grew up, have folks that looked like us, whether it was in media or arts and culture or television. We didn't have that on a regular
Yes.
basis. So to be able to be in spaces like we are now and really to also be that resource, right? Some people will say, I actually really love these responses, right? When people say, "Oh, what are you doing now? What are you guys working on?" And you say you got a podcast, or you say you're writing a book, and they're like,
Right.
hmm,
Yeah.
So you ain't got no job. That's what I'm hearing, right? You ain't got no job.
No,
You
no,
ain't got no
no, because
income.
we got jobs. We got
We
jobs.
do. This is a lot of work.
This is like, listen, but besides that, we are holding down other jobs while the vision is coming in. So I know how you work and I know what I'm
That's
doing.
right.
And so
That's
we're
right.
holding down full-time jobs as we're writing books and as we're producing podcasts, creating
Yes.
a website. Our website's going to be up very
Yes.
soon.
Yes.
I know. I'm really excited about that. Very
Me
excited.
too. Me too. So,
Yeah.
as I was saying, it's just so important for us to continue to be that beacon of hope and light for folks that are coming,
Yeah.
in these newer generations to essentially carry on the torch, right? Not that I'm old or anything,
Absolutely.
but I'm tired, child. I'm tired. I've been fighting this fight and doing the good work of the
But
Lord and our
we'll talk
communities
about
and
that
our
later
people.
on. We'll talk
I
about that later on.
know.
But
I know.
will the fight ever end? That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
We as
gosh.
long as we are black and we're queer, I don't think the
Yeah.
fight's ever going to end. But how's your week been? What's been going on this week? Anything fun? Anything
Yeah.
big? Did you get out? What?
Yeah.
What? What?
There's a lot happening. I'm getting ready to leave on Saturday. I'm getting ready to be gone from South Florida for 9 days. I'm so excited. Got some work planned while I'm gone for the next 9 days. I'm going back to Cali, to San
Ooh,
Francisco, my
going
home
back
away
to
from home. I
Cali.
love it. So yes, I did go there. Going back to
Going
Cali.
back to
I did
Cali.
go
To
there.
Cali. Yes. And
So I'm
San
going back
Fran.
there. Yeah. And then I get to hit Seattle for a biomedical conference. So I'm excited, really excited for that to, shake hands and kiss babies a little bit while I'm there. And this week has been absolutely crazy. I love when people say this all the time, right? Oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does a comedian say? Look, you don't know busy like I know busy.
You know, you
It
know.
starts from the moment I wake up till about 1 or 2 in the morning these days,
I
right?
know
So
because I've been getting texts from you at 11. Do you send the segment breakdown? I'm going, and I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going,
that's
"Ooh,
right.
I didn't." So I'm up at 4, and you go to bed right before I
Right.
get up. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
you
No,
working hard.
outside of the work, I know we're both so heavily into health and wellness and
Yeah.
spirituality and fitness. And so, workouts and training at the gym has been great this week and had some tennis matches and back on the court. My doubles partner was
Did you
injured,
win?
so he's back. I did a little thing and too, so it's been an
Yeah.
incredible week and working on the concert. The concert's coming up in June. So got a lot of amazing projects happening.
And we will definitely promote the concert when it gets closer. I think you're doing Juneteenth, right?
No, so we moved it back just a little
Mm,
bit, even though that is an incredibly special day for
I know,
multiple reasons.
you know.
But the concert's on June 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely be there to support. And
Yes.
exciting. Good.
Yes. How's the week been for you? I know you're traveling
Oh,
right now, so how's
I'm
everything been?
traveling. I'm up in Jersey. Listen, I'm down, not down in Jersey. I'm up in Jersey with my mom and my family. And, things are really good. I'm talking about did you know there was an eclipse? And I'm going to talk about that. But the eclipse brought up a lot of incredible things that I need to get very, very clear about. I
Okay.
made some things I'm not going to announce right now very clear to what I really want. So that's been exciting for me to really step into that honesty of what I really want. But the traveling to be back here with my mom and my family was about reconnection. And I saw my cousin today, and
Oh,
she got me a pass to go work out at the gym, and I just love her so much. Del Rita, shout out to Del Rita. Now you know that's a country name, Del Rita. I love
go
it.
girl. Yes. What up? Shout
So
out. Shout
so
out.
we're doing some fun stuff with the family this weekend, going to church on Sunday.
Love it.
You coming
Love it.
home, you're going to church, got a suit in the
This is
closet ready
true.
to
This is
go.
true.
So
That is
no, it's
what they
been
say all
really
the time,
good.
right? Like you coming home, you got to
Going
bring
to
the suit
church.
because you will be going to church.
You are going to church. But other than
Oh,
that,
I love it.
it's been really, really good. I am on this kick of I don't miss a day that I don't work out or do something
Yeah.
physically. So I do something called the MMP program and something I created. I meditate, I move, I pray every day. And the meditation is you just meditate on anything you want. You can meditate on your breath, you can meditate on your body, you can meditate in nature. Just take time out. It doesn't have to be long, it's 5 minutes, whatever. And then some type of movement. So the movement could be getting on the treadmill, going for a run, lifting weights, doing yoga, going for a walk, putting on music and dancing. It could be anything you want. And then you pray. And the prayer I'm talking about is a simple prayer. Thank you, universe, for what I have. There you go.
That's
And but
it. Simple.
it's simple. So this has been what has helped me to transform my life. So I've been in the joy of transformation. I've been in deep joy of transformation. So my week's been pretty good, brother. My week's pretty
Yes.
good.
Yes. I love it. I'm gonna have to adopt that, right? Like
Yes,
MMP. Not that I'm not moving every day either, but
you
I
do
just
be
think a little.
moving.
I do. I do. Look, and some people in some new people in my life, they'll still remain nameless at the moment. But
Oh,
I
oh my
know, I
goodness.
know.
I love it.
They keep telling me I need to stop moving, right? I need to
Why
sit down and
is
take a
that,
nap.
T? Why is that? I had the same thing, someone said to me, "You are a workaholic." And I'm
Yeah,
going, okay, well,
yeah,
and I got a little bit, I had some feels around that, Terry. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I love the work though. I love the work that we're doing. And when you're
Yes,
starting up a new podcast or you're writing a book or you're changing things around, you got to put the hustle in.
that's
Nobody's
right.
gonna make this work but me. So I
That's
had
right.
a little bit of feelings around when that person said I'm a workaholic.
Yeah. How else do we grind? How else do we, move forward?
Mm,
And, so often I've heard people say, that's part of the problem with our society, right? Like we are such workaholics, or we're constantly trying to find the next best thing, or what other materialistic thing can we have? And we're working so hard and getting that paycheck in order to have the bigger homes, the cars, the all these sorts of things. I'm like, but that creates so much character, so much discipline, so much, it keeps me focused and grounded every single day because I'm hustling, right? Because I'm grinding. So
yes.
I'm all for it. I don't know
I'm
what
all for
they
it too.
say. I'm all
I
for
remember
it.
back in the day, Will Smith said this. He says, I'm successful because when everyone else is sleeping, I'm working.
That's
Now,
right.
but I believe that there has to be a work ethic. And if you
Hmm.
listen to people like, Michelle Obama, and you listen
Hmm.
to even Barack Obama and other really, prominent black figures and white figures, always said the work ethic is key.
Yes,
You show up on time, and you know your stuff.
that's right.
Viola Davis says you show up and you know yourself. You
That's
know your
right.
stuff,
That's right.
and you be on time, and you don't miss. And so I believe putting in that work ethic is going to take our brand and what we're doing, together and separately to the next level. So I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
I am all
Absolutely.
for
I
it.
completely agree. And I think anybody who is listening to us or watching us,
Yes,
I hope they feel a sense of empowerment and a sense of inspiration to go out there and hit that grind as well. And really, uplift not only those around you, but continue to uplift yourself, right? Like we have
yeah.
to do so much more of that. So should we
And
get into it, brother?
and balance too. We can talk about that. That'll
Yes.
be another show. How do you
Yes, it
get what you
will.
want to have the balance? Because
Yes.
boo boo. If you got a boo boo, you got to take care of boo boo. If you want to keep boo boo, you got to take care of boo boo. But
You
that's a
do.
whole nother
That's a
story. That's a whole
whole
nother
topic.
story. But I'm gonna lead us into the next segment. Is did you
Yes.
know? I got a did you
Yes.
know for you. Did you know
All
we
right.
had an eclipse? Did you know we had an eclipse?
I mean, I heard a little something on social media and everybody was up in a roar about it. Yeah, I heard a little something. I heard a little
You know,
something.
So here's a fact about the eclipse, which I love. There were over 30 million people had a view of the eclipse, the full
Oh.
view, and they're thinking another 150 million had a partial view. But we're all feeling
Mm.
the energy and the shift of the energy.
Yeah.
It was so dope for me because spiritually, it brings on and amplifies the new moon. So I'm gonna go woo woo on you. Here it is, Rev Skip astrology. It brings on whoa, It,
Ooh.
it
Sorry to
brings
throw that in there.
it amplifies the new moon season or the new moon cycle because an
Yeah.
eclipse can only happen during the new moon. What a new moon does, it is a time for pushing the restart, new direction, maybe doing something you always wanted to do and you step forward doing it. This is the energy that we go into amplifying and unlocking all the things that block you from tapping into your gifts, your talents, and what your purpose is. This was
Mm.
amplified. I went in with these ideas I was contemplating. Am I in the right space? Am I doing the right thing? Am I with the right person? And I got so much. Now, I got to tell you, I did not see the eclipse because I was in therapy.
Important. That's important.
But I felt it. I felt it because there was this energetic lift around where you are when the eclipse was passing through, because the moon is so close to the earth, so you're feeling tired, you're weighted
Yeah.
down. It causes you to stop, to be still, to usher in what is new. So as it's passing through, I felt this weight, and all the questions that I was contemplating, everything started to get into alignment. And the biggest thing for me was speak your truth. Speak your truth. And I got to really say, this is what I really, really want. This is what I really want to do. And everything started to fall in alignment.
Yeah.
Everything started to fall in alignment. So this eclipse was so powerful. And I hope that our listeners and our viewers experience the energetic shift. We had earthquakes, Charles. There was earthquakes during, I mean, this
Yeah.
is no
We
joke.
did.
It
We
was
did.
powerful.
I heard today that there was an aftermath of or an aftershock of an earthquake too that happened like a couple of days ago. So I'm like, that's
Mm.
crazy.
I know. I know.
That's
Now, what happened
crazy.
to Pookie, your little puppy? What your well, she's not a puppy, but your
Oh, she
dog. What
grown woman.
she
She's a
grown woman?
grown woman.
What's your dog's name?
Zola, my
Oh,
baby
Zola.
girl.
That's right. I almost called her
Yes.
Zoe, and that's another whole nother name. Zola. Zola is not Zoe. Zoe, don't be
No.
calling Zola Zoe. She look like really?
No, she did. She like that ain't my name. That ain't my name. And my anybody that knows my child knows that my child is absolute the queen of shade and
Oh,
side eye.
oh.
That girl will look at you and her face will be looking this way, and all of a sudden she'll do. It is the biggest, like people lose their minds when they see
Oh
her
my
do this. Like
goodness.
she is a little person trapped in that body. I swear.
Did she
I
feel the
swear.
earth? Did she feel the effects of the eclipse?
I didn't really see any, and I wasn't home when the eclipse happened. I hate to admit it. I forgot. I was actually at the gym, working out these guns, right? But so for me, being in that space, I was killing my workout that day. So maybe that level of energy and what was happening,
Mm.
on our planet and things like that, like maybe that's what maybe, why I was killing my workout that day. But, I wasn't home with her. So I have no idea how she responded. I will say that this has been a week that, and I know we talk about Mercury and retrograde and all these other things that
Ooh,
happen. You
Mercury in
know,
retrograde, great child. Whew, whew,
I know.
whew.
That creates a whole separate, thing of occurrences and things happening and feelings and emotions and connections and all that type of stuff too. So, as a result of that, I have felt a difference of energy this week. I actually
Yeah.
have felt, even though I haven't slept a lot this week because she's been working and
Hmm.
grinding and texting you at 11 and 12 at 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right,
Just
right.
saying. Just saying. But with that, I have felt a tremendous amount of productivity this week. So that
Yeah.
could very well be, because of the eclipse and everything.
Well, Mercury is not going to be out of retrograde until the 23rd. So we still,
Oh, so we still
because
have a
so in
oh,
Mercury in retrograde, here's another did you know? Mercury in retrograde, there's an appearance that we're going backwards because
right,
retrograde means to reverse. So
right.
in the energetic of the earth, it feels like we're going backwards, but we're just moving slower.
Mm,
And in moving slower, it really messes with technology. Technology can go wackadoodle. And we both had computer stuff. We both had computer stuff
dude,
going wackadoodle.
dude. Well, I don't need that this week, child. I
I
don't. I got a lot of work to do. We don't
Hey,
need
child.
that. We don't need that for sure.
What's your
So
what's your did you know?
so did you know?
Oh my goodness, what?
No, did you know something unfortunate happened today? There was a death that happened first thing this morning. Orenthal is as he was named. OJ
Yeah.
Simpson passed
OJ.
away. OJ passed, and the first thing that I
Hmm.
talked about with my brother and so yeah, someone's bringing my door. Y'all heard that, right? Sorry.
This is real.
Um,
You might hear
it's
ambulance.
live. It's 100% live.
It's
So
real.
someone's ringing my doorbell right now, right? So a lot of people feel sad, but
Hmm.
I think even more people are not sad because of everything that this man, allegedly did and these illegal issues and stuff like that. So, I did want to talk about him today and
Sure.
talk about,
Absolutely.
the did you know with him because he did, even though he had troubles and all of these allegations and the trials and the murder with, all that type of stuff. I did just want to recap that he was a person that we put on a pedestal, right?
Hmm.
In the 60s. He was the lead running back for the University of Southern California at USC.
Hmm.
He was a Heisman winner. A year after he won that Heisman, right, he went into, the NFL and he had an incredible career, especially in a time where there was still a disconnect between blacks and sports and civil rights and all these different things. And he was a part of that fight during that time period. So we have to give the man, some credit, right, with respects to what he did for athletes and changing the game of football, then going into the NFL and changing the game of the NFL and things like that. But I did just want to, excuse me, bring that to light.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was married to Nicole Brown Simpson for 7 years. They got divorced in 1992. 2 years after that, she, of course, was found dead with her alongside her friend Ron Goldman. And then, of course, as we all know, the trial of the century began in
Whoa, 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 whoa,
1995.
whoa, hold on, hold on. The Bronco chase.
The Bronco chase. It
That's
happened. Do you
infamous. That's
remember
how he
where you
became
were?
infamous. The Bronco chase.
Right. Do you remember where you were
Whew.
when we saw that Bronco going down the
Yes.
highway in California
Yes, 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 yes.
on the TV? I was a kid. I was in high school and I'm going, what in God's green earth with this black person on the TV with all the cops chase? What are you doing? What is
And
happening?
it went on for so long. There were people on the street with signs that says "Go OJ, go." Remember that?
Yes.
They had signs on the street going,
Yes.
"Oh, go OJ,
Yes.
go."
Run,
You
Forrest,
know,
run.
thank you for bringing that up. And the did you know? Because I still here's the thing. I go into this kind of idea. It was such a and like now, it's such a very challenging time on race issues. But even
Yes.
more so was so incredibly like I was in college, I was at NYU film school, and literally black and white people stopped talking to each other. I was working in the dean's office of NYU, working in the dean's office in the dean's office, and we literally stopped talking during that trial because it was like boom boom, and even if you believed or whatever, it was like it was more so we wanted to stand up for OJ in a way we wanted to support.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still have I'm it's still unresolved shit, unresolved stuff
Yes.
around
Yes.
that. It's
Absolutely
unresolved
agreed.
healing that
Yep.
needs to go on.
Absolutely. I do believe, that to me, and in my experience and in my education and readings and things like that, I do believe that that was still a time that, we weren't talking about a lot of things as a
Yeah.
society and as different communities, right? We're not talking about emotions. We're not talking about
Mm,
trauma. We're not talking about healing in the mid
yeah.
90s, right? I mean, thank goodness we're talking about a lot of that stuff and bringing more awareness to those topics now. But back then, those weren't things that we talked about. And so I just remember being 14, 15 years old, seeing this. And then, unfortunately, I didn't necessarily have, folks in my um immediate household to have conversations with. What
Yeah.
does this mean for a
Yeah.
black community? What does this mean for us as a society? What does this mean as athletes, right? At that time, I didn't know a lot of athletes that were in trouble legally. I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there
Yeah.
were. Like, these aren't
Well,
new things, right? But I didn't
and
know about a lot of that stuff at that time.
yeah, and he brought up, this was I believe this was the kind of the invitation for us to really look at ourselves. We had Rodney
Yeah.
King that happened. We
Yes.
started really having to look at race and how the police was treating people,
Oh,
not just in Los Angeles, but everywhere. We had to face our own demons for Black people
yes.
and for white people.
100%.
It was a powerful invitation for us to see the face of who we are,
Mhm.
very much with Floyd. When Floyd was killed,
Yeah.
same thing. It
Yep.
brought up more energy around that.
Yes.
So
Yep.
and I can't be, and I remember, ah, and I'm gonna probably go on a limb, so don't even like write into the show and say. People always ask, "Do you really think he did it?" And I will
Oh
always go,
gosh.
"I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know." And I know my other women around me have said, he did it. I'm going,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I didn't. I don't want him to have done it. I don't
Right.
know. I
Right.
don't know. And
Right.
so, people are gonna write in T. You're gonna
Listen,
write
but this is
in.
what we love. We love difference of opinions. We love
Yeah,
hearing what other people think because this is how you have, effective dialogue. This is how
yeah.
you have conversations and you hear different points of views in order to have an educated opinion about things, right? We move needles forward by communicating and having open conversations, right? So
Mm.
I'm here for it. I will say this. I do
But
remember as a 15-year-old,
yeah,
the good old quote that came out of that infamous trial, right? Which was, if it
If
if
the
it doesn't fit,
fit,
you must
you must
acquit, right?
quit. No, child, please.
Everybody was talking about that.
Really, I know.
To, kind of closing the loop, of course, we talked about this for many years, and obviously OJ had a tremendous amount of additional legal issues after that, right? 1996, he was sued by the Brown and Goldman families for $33 million. Yeah, let me just write out a check for $33 million, okay? But I found out he never paid one red cent.
Hmm.
Never
Hmm.
paid one red cent. So,
Hmm.
and then he was found guilty in 2008, and sentenced to 33 years in prison on 12 additional felony charges, which included kidnapping and armed robbery. 2017, he was released after serving 9 years in prison. And then,
But
of
we can't
course,
don't skip that though. That was another controversy because there were
absolutely.
rumors at the time. I'm living in LA, and there were rumors at the time going, "Oh, he was just set up. Someone wanted to
Yeah.
set him up because
Yeah.
they had stolen his memorabilia. He was going
Yes.
back to get it, and you
Yes.
know how
Yes.
black people they don't be messy.
Yes.
That's my shit.
Yes.
Listen, you
Yes,
got to
right.
give it
I
up.
want it.
You
Let me
got
take these
come on
earrings
now,
off.
right, right,
Let me
right.
take these
So he
earrings
just
off.
like he
Right.
might have approached it in the
Right.
wrong way, but
100%.
that's what got him because he was like, no, 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 I'm coming up here like gangbusters. I'm gonna
So let me ask you, do you think because he was, never he was acquitted, right, on the murder, and obviously that set, millions of people in an uproar, right? They all felt he was guilty, and things lined up and all that type of stuff, right? So because he was acquitted, do you find or do you feel that people still came after him, to
oh,
make him sort of pay the price for years later?
absolutely. Whether
Yeah.
he was guilty or not, they still
Yeah.
wanted him. They wanted this
Yeah.
brother to pay no matter
Yes.
what. I mean,
Right.
even if they found a killer.
Right.
Here's the thing that too. I look at OJ and I go, like you started off this conversation. We did put him on a pedestal. He was like running through the airports. Like, come on, everybody
Mhm.
wanted to be OJ Simpson, right? He
He's
was
on the
so
Wheaties box.
and he was the pinnacle of what you could do as a black person in sports.
Yep. Yep.
He raised the bar.
Yes,
And
he
then
did.
all of a sudden it was like, okay, now this person has fallen down. So we either going to continue to support him
Right.
or we're going to make sure that no other person is going to rise up to that level again.
Absolutely.
And this comes from
Absolutely.
a deep seated thing that I took a course with Dr. Joy DeGruy,
Hmm.
post slavery, post traumatic slave syndrome. She wrote the book, and I took a
Mm.
graduate course with her, and she said this is a part of white rage that is so instilled in non people of color
Yeah.
that they don't understand that when you see someone rise up in your own kind of thinking, you want to bring them back down
Yeah.
to level,
Yeah.
and it's not a right or wrong, it's just an awareness. And when she said that in class, I went, ooh, there's some truth to this.
See it every day. We see it every day. We see it in our
Yeah.
immediate, in your network. We see it in my network. We see it happening at, the tables with business owners in corporate America. We see it,
Hmm.
in nonprofit spaces. People love to build people up. And then the moment that that specific person gets a level of notoriety or prestige or attention or whatever,
Yes.
and they say, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I know I gave you that space. I know I brought you to the table, but don't forget, I can still bring you back. Right?
Yes.
Don't forget that I'm the one that's still in charge. I'm the one that still has the power. That still happens day in and day out in our
Yeah.
current times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whoo, Charles. That could have been the grits for today,
It
but
could have. It could have.
but that was
It
just
could
to
have.
let that we about to go
Yes.
deeper into some
We
stuff.
are. We are.
Woo.
Do you think our listeners, and we hope y'all starting to grow because we doing this for y'all, right? Do you think people are ready to go
To-
deep with us on these things,
yeah.
these
Well, they
issues,
have no
these
choice.
topics? You
They
ain't
have
got
no
a choice. This is
choice.
true.
They have no
Disastrous.
choice. So this is the segment that we call the grits, and the grits for me because, and again, I kind of whispered this going on the outro last week that you don't like grits. I'm like, how do you not like a grits? Like, here's the debate. It's not if you like grits, it's how do you like grits? You like grits and shrimp and grits? Do you like grits with sugar and butter? Do you like cheese and eggs mixed into your grits? How do you not like a grit, brother?
I don't even know what to tell you. I just don't like a grit shot. I can't do
Oh
it.
my
So I
goodness.
don't know if it's because I don't like I unfortunately don't like a lot of soups, for example. There's a
Yes.
couple that I'll eat. I will like if I'm really sick, I will only eat chicken noodle soup if I have no choice, kind
Right,
of
right.
thing, you
Yeah.
know. Lobster bisque is my favorite. I like tomato soup, tomato bisque, but that is essentially it for the soups. And I feel like grits is one of those soupy
Yeah, yeah.
type meals. But here's what's also interesting, and I haven't had it probably in 30 years, but when we were growing up,
Yeah.
I did love cream of wheat.
See, that's the white version of grits, yo. I'm just saying, I've always thought about
You
that.
said
Like,
the
okay, white
white
people like cream
version.
of wheats, black people like grits. I have all that is instilled in my DNA still today. Cream of wheat,
Yeah,
grits.
they are different. They are different. But yeah, I think it is a little weird that,
Yeah.
I loved cream of wheat growing up and then did not like grits. Just like a lot of people know, I love chicken, but I can't stand turkey. Like, cannot eat. I know, I
I
know.
don't
Oh,
know. I don't
y'all, it's
know.
only our second
I
episode. Don't
know.
kill
You'll
me
you'll
now,
get to know
child.
more
Don't
about this.
and
So
don't kill me now, child.
but this is the grits part of our segment. This is the grits part of our podcast where we really want to go deep on some of the issues that we're experiencing as Black queer people. And I guess this is apropos me coming home, being in Atlantic City, where I grew up in the church, and also knowing that there was a time where I didn't feel included or didn't feel connected because I was pretty much open in high school. I was out as a Black queer person in the 80s in churches. There were so many of us living on the DL, which I believe that we lost a lot of prominent Black folks in the church because of who they chose to love. So I, in turn, found a spirituality movement called New Thought. And I found Agape International Spiritual Center in LA, and I became a minister through Agape, which was it's all inclusive. It was like God don't care about who you sleep with. God is only love. God loves you. You are
That's it.
love. We are loved together.
Yes.
But that was not my growing up. I
Yeah.
was taught that I was something wrong. I was an abomination. I was going to hell. And this is the stuff that it caused me to go through a path of destructive habits. I went to a place, well, listen, if God don't love me, then I'm going to go out and I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to go whatever. And it brought me to a place of when I began my spiritual journey to understand my my pathway to self-love was deeply affected by what was ingrained in me, which was hate, which was fear, which was doubt. And, so I believe that I can recognize and look at this was a big part of my upbringing, but it's something that I need to overcome. And our question in our talk today is about inclusivity in the churches, especially the Black community.
Feel that or believe that the church being sort of fear-based, ideologies and thought and education, do you feel that that has caused so many things to go awry in our communities, right? So there's things that the Black culture experiences, sweeping things under the rug, not talking about it. It's all about strength and power, and there's no showing of weakness, and how we treat women and abuse and all these other things. Do you think that all of that has a direct correlation to how we operate as a society, but then also as a LGBTQ community?
Absolutely. I remember, one of my favorite books, actually my favorite book, my favorite movie, my favorite musical. I love the works of Alice Walker, The Color Purple. And when Alice wrote The Color Purple, there was a backlash by Black people. Why are you putting our stuff, why are you putting our laundry into the public? Why are you telling our
Yes.
stories? And it was
Right.
so common, all these things of hiding. And I believe that goes back to our enslaved ancestors, was taught to make sure you don't put your stuff out there because you don't want to find or give anybody a reason to pull us down or to
Yeah.
make us feel less than. We're going
Yeah.
to keep our secrets to ourselves. But I believe that it is definitely a part of re-education
Yeah.
because it is passed down. It is epigenetically passed down, and we have to learn how to break the cycle.
Yeah. I agree. I think religion has caused so much damage to our society and to our communities. And, I have, multiple, obviously, we safe to say we both grew up religious
Mhm.
and don't necessarily consider ourselves, I'll speak for myself, not necessarily speak for you, but don't necessarily consider myself religious to this day. There are things that I do that are still connecting to my upbringing and my education in the church. I still say pray over, every single meal that I have 3 times a
You
day or
better.
whatever it is, right? I still do that. I'm thankful for the
Right.
opportunity to feed nourishing this body, honey, right?
Hey,
Like I'm thankful for that, right? And then, every single day I wake and I do say, I'm thankful for this, or thankful that I was able to wake up and breathe again and all those sorts of things. I think having a sense of spirituality and a base and a foundation is crucial,
yeah.
but that word of God, if you will, that Bible, all those things has been rewritten over and over and over and over and over
Translation.
again. It's all about that translation. And really, truly, what is, I think I said this in our last episode, where what is popular and what is relevant in that time period to guide people, right? So for me, excuse me, I do believe that religion has, caused so much damage to our spirits and our humanity, and we use that book, that word, as a guiding light to tear down each other,
I'm
to
yes.
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm glad you said that because I believe, because I read the Bible almost every day. And I believe there are lessons, there are stories, and there are teachings, and there are parables that we can use to apply to our living today.
Yeah. Yep.
But I also believe it's how it's been used. And when I was in ministerial school, we studied the Bible and we went back to
Yeah.
the original Aramaic language, which was before any printing press. It was before the Greek got to it and then translated from Latin to Greek, and then from Greek into
Yeah.
another
Yep.
language, and then into
Yep.
English. And then King James got his hands on it, the big old queer, because King James was the big old queen. And he did his own thing to try to get himself into heaven. So a
Absolutely.
lot of this is that we're getting is not the original language.
That's right.
So whenever you say that, or you say, okay, listen, I've studied this, people who are deeply rooted in its cultural. This is cultural. We've been to if we turn away from our religious upbringing, we are denying our culture, our people, and we're
Mm.
so deeply ingrained into our religion because that's what got us through the enslavement. It was like,
Absolutely.
hold on, don't release the plow. Don't
Yep.
to hold on to the plow. The plow is going to get you through. Pick up
Yeah.
the songs. Good old Moses is
Yeah.
coming to get us.
Yeah.
These are the things that
We
it
don't
was,
know.
and I love the essence of it. I love
Yeah.
the essence of church.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go to church on Sunday with my mama. I
Yeah.
love it, but I always feel comfortable in it? No, because it's not a
Right.
place of inclusivity. It's a
Right.
it's a place of marginalization.
That's right. That's right. Here's what's also interesting to me, right? So there's a lot of, and I talk about some of them in my first book, and I can't wait to bring more to light in book number two.
Yes. Hmm.
where, I talk about my connection to religion and my experiences with religion, and how there were people that surrounded me that were supposed to be, godlike and of God and of his image and of his word and preaching his word to the rest of us, right? But these were also the same exact people that were, committing extramarital affairs, that were manipulating and embezzling money in the church, or molesting kids, or doing all these sorts of things, or living a secret life of homosexuality themselves, right? So how can you tell me, this has always been my biggest pet peeve, if you will, or my biggest sort of issue with religion, is how in the world can you say that one sin is greater than the other? How in the world can you say that these folks are supposed to be ministering to us and they are of God and of the word and all this other stuff, when they're the ones who are doing all these things, right, behind closed doors and toward women or toward children and all these other things? But me being who I am, me being, who God made me to be, is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? How does that equate? How do we make that make sense in our minds, right? And then what that ended up doing is allowing people to live lives that were not authentic. It
Mhm.
allowed people to live in secret and be in the closet, and it allowed people to not own, who they really are, and not be comfortable in their own skin. And we only get one life, and when it's gone, it's gone. So
Yeah.
how in the world do we want to go through life, living this double life, because we can't be who we really are? Because
Because
of
we're
what? Because of a
perpetuating,
book says?
but we're perpetuating and we're continuing to be in the place of shame. And you
Yes.
mentioned people in the closet, and lo and behold, the doors are being burnt down, whether you like it or not. People are being thrown out the closet. Prominent teachers, of black teachers, are being thrown out of the closet, whether they like it or not. Oh, I said it. I said it.
Child,
My
child,
auntie's gonna get on me.
child.
But what do you
That's
say to that? What do you say when Terry, when you hear about these prominent teachers who have made millions with church followers? I mean, massive, the biggest mega
right.
churches, and now they're in the
Mm-hmm.
midst, allegedly, in the middle of a scandal. Allegedly, we're going to keep saying that word
Mm-hmm.
a lot today.
Right. Right.
Allegedly, in the middle of a sex parties.
Right.
How does that make you
Right.
feel within you?
Listen, listen,
Oh,
Linda.
listen,
Listen, Linda. This could be this conversation,
a
and my
whole
thoughts and
nother
my
show.
experiences on this can be a whole segment or a whole podcast in and of
Oh, we're
itself,
going to get
right?
some notes. We're
Yeah.
going to get some
People gonna come for
comments.
us. Listen,
Yes.
y'all, we love you. We love you. We're doing this for
And we're not
y'all.
speaking for all black people, all black queer
That
people.
part.
We
Let's
just,
let's make
we
let's make that be known.
speaking, we having a conversation.
Let's make that be known. We are not speaking for all Black people. We are not speaking for all LGBTQ people. These are based off of our experiences and our beliefs, et cetera, et cetera. Hope you align. Just kidding. So here's I at what, 12 years old, I had the opportunity to Richard Smallwood, who is one of the greatest legends of
Mm,
gospel music of
I love
all
Richard
time,
Smallwood.
right? Same. I had the opportunity to be in a room and to sing in the choir when he came to visit us, and we did a concert or whatever. That was a moment for me because I equated religion alongside music. My spirituality came from music. It came
Of
from
course.
a woman's voice. It came from lyrics. It came from how music moved
Yeah.
people, right? So
Mhm.
for me to have somebody, and we gonna say it, right? Because we're getting into this in the glitter segment, right? But to have somebody like
Yeah.
this extremely prominent, right? We
Mhm.
put we put these people on pedestals. We have given them millions and millions and millions of dollars. We've given them accolades and awards, only to find out that they have now allegedly done these, sexual acts. They've done these things against these assaults against other adults. They've done these things to younger people underage. But why? Is it
Yeah.
because of that fear base that we were just talking about? Is it because they can't be authentically themselves, when they're in the closet, if you will? Is it because they're just not good people and they've masked that through religion to the world, right?
Yeah.
To make
Yeah.
their careers and to do all this kind of stuff. So, Chad, it does not make me feel good because for me, it rocks. It
Yeah.
rocks the foundation. And I have to say, this might not be a popular opinion, so y'all can, tune out for the next 30 seconds if you want. Just kidding, don't do that. Just kidding. It may not be a popular opinion, but for
Yeah.
me, I'm thankful that this is finally, these things are coming to light because this stuff has been going on for decades. And
Yeah.
finally, somebody is saying enough is enough, right? This is another hashtag Me Too moment, and it needs to be stopped,
Yeah.
right? These people want their careers, they want this, they want the fame, the fortune, but they want to have this stuff in the closet as well. It doesn't make
So
sense to me.
here's what we do like to do on the show, and what we will always do. We can call something in because I don't like the work. I'm going to call you out. I want to call you in so we can
Mm,
have a really
mhm.
honest conversation. So we're also going to call you in, but we're also going to give
Yes.
you maybe some tools that if you are in leadership in a church and you want to maybe begin to bring more inclusivity into your environment, into the church, I'm going to give you some things. So here's our call to action to bring more inclusivity into the church's spiritual community. Number one, we have to have a diverse leadership.
Yes.
If you know someone is in the church that's open and who's saying, I'm queer, deal with me because I love me some Jesus and I'm here, you need to bring them into leadership.
Right.
Because of the fact we don't see any black queer leaders
Right.
in our black churches because we are afraid. But if you want to make a shift, you got to get into some leadership, diversity in leadership.
Yep.
And we got to start changing our language because it is
Yes.
the language from the pulpit that throws these darts and people go, I ain't going back there because I don't feel comfortable. We have to learn to begin to understand that you are here to change lives. You might not agree with who we are sleeping with, but if we all children of God, then that should not matter. So we have to
Right.
change our language and also community engagements.
Yes.
Ministers, people in these black churches, y'all need to get out there and get into the community and say, we're here for
Mhm.
you. If you want to come
Right.
and hang with us, we're here for you. Because here we are
100%.
we're in the business of bringing communities together. So we have to start looking at how can we be the beacon of love versus the beacon of hate.
Absolutely agreed. Nothing wins with hate.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing. We will
That's why we say
not
love
get.
wins.
That's right. That's right. It just won't. If we are not, in spaces where we are trying to uplift and empower and inspire and
Yep,
give people the necessary tools to be good human beings at the end of the day, then we're not doing the right things. We are not in positions that we should be in. And I think that speaks volumes to those that are in leadership positions in religious spaces, right? If you're not
absolutely.
trying to eradicate our communities, if you're not trying to provide people with the space to make the right choices for themselves, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as
Mhm.
that spiritual guide or that spiritual leader.
Yeah, yeah. That was really gritzy. I mean, we got deep into the
Was.
grits.
It
Child, please.
was. It
And
was.
I don't think the glitter segment is going to be any better. But I'm gonna let you kick off the glitter segment, my
Listen, so
brother.
this is, I don't, this is on my spirit to talk about, and it literally
Woo!
blends right from,
Y'all, his name is Terry
well,
Dyer, not Skip Jennings. So you go ahead and write the letters. It's Terry Dyer.
listen. So for
Listen,
this
listen,
this
Linda.
glitter section, we are
Mm,
talking about harmony in the music industry
yes, we
or
are.
the lack thereof.
Yes.
Cha. I'ma say it. Maybe if I say it 3 times, like Beetlejuice, it will appear. I don't know. Like diddy 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 diddy.
Woo! La, la,
Why?
la, 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 la.
Why? What is going on? What is
Allegedly,
going
make sure you keep,
on?
brother. You keep saying, you gotta keep saying
I
allegedly.
am. I am. Listen, I haven't said what it is yet. I'm just saying why? Why are you all in the media right now? Why are they coming for you? Is your name being dragged through the mud right now? Why are you making us take steps backwards as Black people, as in the music industry? Like all of these, like you're doing so many things with all the stuff that's happening with these allegations right now, right?
Yeah,
So for me, the glitter that I want to talk about today is this harmony or lack of harmony in the music industry, and why we have created these spaces, right, that are traditionally male dominated spaces. And
yeah,
shout out to all of our queens that have been doing incredible work in the music industry and paving
incredible
ways,
stuff.
right, paving ways and doing all these things for us. But I want to take a look at, I didn't brought up another timeline, y'all. Sorry about it. But I want to take a little bit of a look at the timeline for Diddy and how this incredibly unbelievable situation has blown my mind. And I keep getting caught up watching YouTube videos and all these other people's
Oh, you in it?
podcasts and
You in it?
stories and the CNN and the
You in
NPR
it?
talking about it. I am in it because for me as a huge music buff and lover, and hell, I went and got a degree in music, right? Like for me, it just breaks my heart because one, as a person who has also survived sexual abuse,
Yeah,
y'all knew these things were happening 30, 40, 50 years ago. This isn't anything new.
yeah, yeah,
It's new to y'all because media, social media, and the news and all that is sensationalizing it, right? So we're now bringing that all to light, and everybody's ready to crucify him, right? But let's remember, people are guilty until proven innocent, or and vice versa, right? Innocent until proven guilty. But for me, as a person that experienced sexual trauma and sexual abuse as a child, that didn't need to happen if we were bringing these
yeah,
conversations and bringing these things to light early on,
yeah.
right? Because
E-
people wouldn't have been in a space where they thought they could get away with these things constantly.
I think for me, and I agree with you when the allegations of sex trafficking and all this was happening, and then being involved with the allegations that he was bringing drugs in, all that. I mean, what really got to me was I love me some Bad Boy. I love
I
come on,
know,
Bad
I
Boy music.
know,
That was the jam, and
I
and
know,
Mary J. Blige and all them and Puffy and Notorious B.I.G. Biggie
I
and Little
know.
Kim. That's a crew, and
Mace,
Nas and all
Mace,
Mace and all that.
yep,
So here's the thing that got
yep,
to me was that I go back to the roots, and mind you, being a young queer black man who loved hip hop, never feeling comfortable enough to go to a concert, but secretly I'd listen to Biggie, I listened to Puffy, and MTV Making the Band. I had to
yeah,
be there on
yes,
Thursday night. I mean,
yeah,
so it was part of my upbringing. It was part of what was so ingrained in me. So for me, it's kind of like the OJ thing. It's like you get to the pinnacle and now you're dropping, and my
yeah,
heart is kind of more broken because how much I really love the
yeah,
music. You go
yeah,
back to Danity Kane, you go back to all these people. I still listen to
yeah.
my 90s music. I
I
still do.
know. I
It's
know.
heartbreaking.
I know.
It's
I
heartbreaking.
will I will say this too. I hope folks really do the necessary if folks are interested in keeping tabs on this and really understanding what's
Do your
happening
research. You
with
got to
this
find.
situation. Really do
Yeah,
your research, and I was, as we prepared and had our production meetings and things like that for this podcast, I was doing a lot of reading on multiple sites about this situation and the timelines of
yeah.
everything. His legal trouble started in 1990.
That's what I know. I read that. Yep.
1990.
Yeah.
1990. So what that brings up for me is that because this man was starting to be powerful in the music industry and create, his level of creativity was just genius, right? All
Right.
this production, doing all these things, we let this behavior go on. We
Yeah.
made it okay. And for me, that brings up even bigger and deeper conversations, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we constantly make bad behavior acceptable in our society and in our communities, we put these people on pedestals, we uplift them, knowing good and well that they are, again, allegedly, folks of this types of behavior, right? I hate to say bring him up too, but Bill Cosby's of the world, the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, right? This is, to me, this is all now coming up because all of those folks finally got caught. The Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, right? The Larry Nassar, right? Like all of these people are finally getting caught for behaviors that they've been doing for decades, right? So
Yeah.
I think he's now another in that long list and long line of things that are people that have been doing this type of behavior to people,
Well,
again, allegedly. And so we have to do a better job. We have to do a
yes.
better job of bringing these things to educating people on, providing resources if people are going through sexual assault or sexual abuse, giving people the empowerment
Yeah.
to stand up for themselves the moment that something happens to them. We have
Yeah.
to stop
So
this.
do you think, Terry, do you think, and in our community we call it the upcomings, do you think it's the Me Too movement that really, pushed this forward for people like you mentioned, Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein and these people who are in the entertainment
Yeah.
industry that are now everything's coming to light. That was in the closet, now is being brought out. Do you think
Mhm.
the Me Too movement had, I believe it did. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think it influenced it, right? Because I think people are more aware and the senses are heightened to these types of situations. So I do think that that play has now played a huge part. And don't get me wrong, I am so grateful for the Me Too movement and all these things that it has brought to the surface and people finally getting caught and having to own what they've done to individuals. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, if you really think about this stuff has been going on
For
forever.
much longer than that, much longer.
Right.
And
Right.
again, in this glitter part, we're not going to just call people in. We're actually going to bring light to people that we love. Black queer artists that are out there. They're doing the incredible things. So a few names that I want to mention is Frank Ocean, Little Nas X. We love Little Nas X, Janelle Monáe, Sylvester, God rest his soul, Big Frida.
Yeah.
You already
You
know.
ought to know.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Tyler, the creator, Kate Renata, which I love Kate Renata, and I saw you when I said Tyler, the creator. I saw that face, but Kate Renata, he's a hip hop artist that's getting some mad ass beats, and I didn't know he was queer.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm checking. I did fact check this, so and then you have people that are coming forth. They're saying, I'm just going to give you music, and it so happens to be that I'm a queer person.
Right.
And I think that
Right.
that's something that we get to look at too when we are having these conversations. We're just not going to give you the part that is really triggering us, but we want to give you some good artists that you can go. Janelle Monae's album is so incredible. I love
Yeah,
me
it
some
is.
Janelle Monae, and
Yeah,
she's
it is.
unapologetically in your face. I'm
Right.
queer, and I
Right.
like girls. I love
That's
that.
right. I do too. I do too. I think she's changing the face of how, this movement moves, for lack of a better phrase or
Yes.
term, right? Like she's make unapologetically like pushing these barriers down and saying, this is, I'm not standing for this. Like if you love me, you love my music, then you're gonna love all of me. And I just absolutely love that.
So, how do you think we can bring more this conversation of more inclusivity to the music industry? What do you think the call of action is going to be for our music industry to really? Because I believe this is music, like you said, music sets you up for transformation.
Yes.
Music is the thing that can pierce through your heart. It actually brings everyone together, but yet we're not seeing the visibility of Black queer artists getting their due. So what are some of the call of actions we can ask this music industry to shift what you're doing and bringing more light to queer Black artists?
I think music industry and people that are in that world, the entertainment world, I think folks that are not even necessarily in the greater scope or scale of the music industry, people that do music for their profession locally, people that do music in their communities, people that like, right? Like what I'm going to say is that remember that at the end of the day, it is about the art. It is
Yes.
about the music. It is about healing. It is about uplifting. It is about allowing your voice or your gift or your talent to move people. It is not
Mm.
about what that person that's performing the song, what they're doing behind closed doors. It is not about that. It is not about what Joe Schmo in rural town is going to think about because they look a certain way. If they resonate, if the music resonates, and if the music moves and calls, that's what it should be about. So
But I'm
from
going to
my
do a
perspective, we need to
pushback
give it
to
to
you, brother. I got to push
yes,
back on you.
yes,
In,
yes.
in this world that we're living at, especially what we're seeing on the YouTube and on the videos, sexuality is in your face, Sam Smith.
It is.
Little Nas
Oh,
X, Nicki Minaj. I mean, it is, and and what Carly B. I mean, it
yeah,
is Cardi B. It is so in your face. So
yes,
then I believe it gives people they go after when they say, "Oh, that sexual behavior is deviant." I remember Sam Smith got so much from
he
this last
did.
album, his
He
videos.
did.
He got
He
so
did.
beat up
He
for
did.
just being queer and out there and
He
showing queer
did.
love in his videos.
He
He was showing
did.
queer love.
What I will say about Sam and what I love is that this man came on the scene and said, it's about to be about my voice. I am going to let you know I'm a bigger guy, I'm tall, I'm whatever. Like I'm going to focus on the voice, which is why I also love Adele. It was about the voice. It's not about my look, it's not about blah, blah, blah. But I
Mhm.
feel like once he like Sam specifically, once he established himself and said,
Yeah.
and I feel like Janelle Monáe did the same thing. She was in movies and award-winning movies, right? She said, let me do this work first, and then it speak for itself. And then I'm going to hit you with, guess what? I'm
What?
also gay. I'm also a lesbian. I'm also paying this. I'm also that. And then
Guess
guess what?
what?
Y'all love me already. So what? You gonna stop loving me because
Yeah.
I'm queer, because I'm this, because I'm not? I, poor Sam, and you were right. Like Sam got beat up, the critics, the this, the
Huge.
that, right. But kudos to him for standing his ground and saying, you liked me prior, like this is also a part of who I am. So I'm putting this in your face. And then also, let's be real, or let's backtrack for a second. His label approved all of that. His label and the people that are supporting him and behind him approved it. They put it out there. They produced
But
it.
they did
So
give him some little, they did push back saying, "Are you really sure you want to go this way?" He's like, "I'm doing it."
but I love that conversation
Yeah.
because you've got to look at it from both lenses, right? Like you're going to be loved or you're going to be hated, right? So I think that was the voice of reason that Sam needed to say, yes, I'm going to think about this and say, this is really what I want to do now moving forward because I want to show my authentic self. And then they can accept it or they don't accept it, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like that was smart to have that realistic
Conversation.
conversation about you could get loved or be
Yeah.
loved or you could
Yeah.
not be loved, right?
And
So
we do have to go back to this is the thing. Madonna's on tour right now, celebration tour, going through her whole entire repertoire of what she
yep,
did. You remember the sex book?
I do. I do. I do. Sex lies, videotapes,
Oh,
or whatever it was, right?
oh,
Then she
her
had
sex book. I still have my copy of the sex book. I
the
still have it.
movie, right?
It was, and so part of this is where Madonna was doing this, what, almost 30 years ago, even longer than that. She's like coming
Yep.
out going boom, and then she went through the same thing, with her, and she had, gay sex, lesbian sex in the sex book. It was a
Hmm.
beautiful expression of love. And she opened up the door for us to have a Janelle Monáe or to have
Right.
a Sam Smith. So I'm grateful
Right.
for Maddie Love celebration. Are you gonna go see the you gonna go see the concert?
And people, absolutely. And people like Prince. Prince made the androgyny thing a thing,
Yeah.
right? You had women that wanted to sleep with Prince. You had men that wanted to sleep with Prince, straight men that wanted to sleep with Prince. He just made sensuality and sexuality being okay. Like it was a thing for the
I
you didn't
know.
know whether you wanted to do things with him or you wanted to hate him. That I will always love and respect him. May he rest in peace for that
Yes.
specifically. Like you pushed that envelope and said, "This is who I am." And in America, the world loved him. Booty cheeks out, high heels on, y'all. So what's the difference? What's the
And
difference between him and Sam Smith? What's the difference
It-
between him and Lil Nas X?
they're pushing it. And Terry, do not sing a Prince song because we can't afford to pay for it. So you are not allowed to sing a Prince song on here. But this is the
No,
segment
no.
that we love to bring, and I think it's very important. Who's making a difference? This is like who's making a
Yeah.
difference out there? Who you bringing to light today, brother?
Yeah. So I'm bringing a friend to light today. A lot of people know who he is. A lot of people don't know who he is. This man was truly a pioneer in the Black LGBTQ HIV and AIDS space. So his name is Phil Wilson. He
Yes.
lives and resides in Los Angeles, and I love and appreciate him for all the work. We've had some great moments together. In fact, I did an interview, a virtual interview with him last year with Comcast, and that was amazing. And in 2018, we walked through the opening ceremonies together at the 2018 Gay Olympics in Paris. But he is a true trailblazer for the HIV/AIDS epidemic, specifically advocating for the Black community. He founded excuse me, the Black AIDS Institute in Los Angeles. He has worked so tirelessly to increase funding
Mhm.
with the CDC and through the CDC for Black groups to educate and mobilize communities. His accolades are absolute laundry list, immense work that he has done, and very well deserved. Currently, although retired, he is still raising awareness and building with various groups in the Los Angeles. He is a true pioneer and will always be a friend and someone that I look up to. So yeah, Phil Wilson is my making a difference.
All right on. Beautiful. And we're going to put his contact in the program notes so we will be
Yes.
able to get a click right to where he is making a difference. My making a difference, I was going to say Tracy Chapman, but I had an instantaneous shift that I want to bring to light the Agape International Spiritual Center, Michael Bernard Beckwith, my teacher, my
Yeah.
mentor in Los Angeles. And the reason why I am bringing Agape and Michael B. Beckwith into this conversation is because of the fact that there are so many Black queer people in general, not just Black people, are looking to find a spiritual community where they feel completely loved and embraced and celebrated. Because, in our New Thought movement, we say that we are a divine emanation of the One. If we're all one, you must show up uniquely, showing who you are. And so the teachings of Agape is we're inviting you to show up exactly how you are. And what you think that God loves you in spite of is what God loves you because of.
Because
So
of
I'm
that's
going to
right.
bring in and we're going to pop them into the link to Agape International Spiritual Center and Michael B. Beckwith. And he is just making a huge difference on this planet. And go and listen to Tracy Chapman again because her song "Fast Car" was
Yes.
just like
Off the
covered and
charts
now it's
again.
all
Yep.
over country radio. So
Yep.
Beyonce. I only said it 3 times this time. I'm
Child, they gonna make
obsessed.
us pay.
I
They
am
gonna make us pay for
obsessed.
that too. They gonna
I'm
make us pay for
obsessed
that
with
too.
that album. I'm obsessed. I can't stop listening to it. I love. I know.
Um,
I know you not feeling it, but I am
I
obsessed.
I think
I'm
I feel it for very
obsessed.
different reasons.
I am obsessed every song, and I know where she's going. It's like anyway. I'm not gonna say because we gotta close out. We gotta close
Yeah.
out this episode. But can we talk about Beyonce? Can we discuss? Because I love Come
We could
on,
have a whole podcast about Miss B. We could. We really could.
Beyonce. If you listen, come on the show.
Hey, girl, let's manifest it.
Hey,
Let's
girl.
manifest it.
Oh,
Let's
ah.
manifest it.
Terry, where can everyone find you, brother?
Oh, everywhere, child. Step in these out in these streets. On
Yes.
Facebook, it's Terry Dyer. On Instagram, it's Terry Dyer Sings. My website is terrydyer.org. Can connect with me in all those places.
Right on. Cool. I am
Yes.
Rev Skip Jennings everywhere on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Just follow us. Also follow our podcast
Yes.
social. It is always Grits and Glitter the Pod, and we will soon have our website up called Grits and Glitter the
Yes.
Pod.com. It is
Yes.
in the works right now as we speak. speak. So look for that
Absolutely.
in the next week or so. And leave us a message and a comment and let us know what you think about the show. If you have any questions, because we want to bring y'all into the conversation of what we are talking about here. Brother, this was an amazing show. I'm loving what we're doing.
Me too. It's just fun. And I will say, we've gotten a tremendous amount of great feedback from episode one,
Yes.
and it just helps us, to be better and to do this. And you've been doing this for a while. I have
You
not
trying
been
to say I'm
doing
old?
this.
You trying to say I'm
No,
old?
listen, no, child. Don't put me in that. No, no.
Brother, I love you so much.
I love
And I'm so
you.
grateful that we get to play together. We get to do this together.
Yes.
And we have another column that's coming out next week.
We do. The essence of diversity will be in Out SFL, so shout out to them. I'm
We're
excited,
doing
and
some
we'll
stuff.
post it as well. We are doing some things, doing some things.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, peace and blessings. And we love you at the show. And just be kind to people. We need more
Yes,
kind people out there.
we do. We do.
All
And
right.
remember, kindness is free. It takes nothing to be kind.
I love it. Well, until next time, peace and blessings, everyone.
All
Bye.
right. See y'all soon.